Hey, everybody, and welcome back to session 7 of the T Spot. I'm getting, hold on, oops. I'm getting like way comfortable doing this. Like, I'm obviously getting more in a groove of things, and yeah, I'm just happy to be back. So, I just wanted to say that. Just a PSA, I'm gonna be now posting on Wednesdays because it's like I don't have time on Tuesdays to post. Like it's Tuesday right now, and I would literally still have to edit and have it be posted by 6:30. And I never post on time. I cannot name one time I post on time for this podcast. So Wednesdays I only have one class, so it's a lot easier. I'll have a lot more time to edit and still post by 6:30, and I'll edit on Tuesdays after I film. So Wednesdays everything will be posted at 6:30. If anything else changes, you guys will be the first to know. As far as last session, I did notice a few people like agreed with some of my unpopular opinions, which didn't surprise me that much, but yeah, I loved all the feedback. I think that was a really good session. It went really well, and it was like good timing. It was not too long and it wasn't too short. It was just like perfect. So, thank you guys for the positive feedback, and just thank you guys for constantly keep viewing and watching my sessions. All the loyal watchers and streamers, all of you guys, y'all have my heart. So thank you guys for just being loyal to the T Spot. So this session is kind of like more of my story, but I feel like it can impact a lot of other people to just let some go that is just holding you back from a lot of better opportunities. Just let that shit go, like there's a much more brighter future ahead, basically. So I'm gonna start the session. When I was younger, I never really wanted to play a sport ever. I found interest in like I love to make my own like stories and little like cartoon things. I loved doing that. Like that was my favorite thing to do as a kid. So I never like had any interest of me playing a sport, but once my family moved to a new city, my mom was like, "Okay, you're playing basketball." And I was like, "What? I do not want to play basketball." Like I don't know. I just never really wanted to play a sport, but tried out, and obviously everybody made the team, but like I was I was just there to have friends, really. Like it wasn't really nothing. I did have fun playing in 3rd grade, but it was like I was really just there to be around a lot of friends and just say I play basketball, but I never really got in the games, which it did kind of discourage me a little bit because yeah, I didn't want to play in the first place, but I'm already here, so you could like just put me in the game, and we're already losing anyway. So I was just like, what? Kind of confused why I wasn't playing. Like, there was literally one time I put my coat on the bench because I didn't get in the game. I mean, that didn't really change anything because he still didn't put me in like games later, but that just goes to show how I felt about the situation. So from 3rd grade on, I continued to play basketball for um like a little league around my town that we lived in, around my city. And I really started to like actually like okay, basketball for real in 6th grade because we were really good, and like I was a very large impact on the team. Like it just was fun then, like, and we liked to win. So like it was really fun in 6th grade, and then I knew in 7th grade um it was going to be fun cuz I was going to get to play with like all my friends still. So I really really started to enjoy playing basketball in 6th grade. I played AAU in 6th grade for a decent team. And yeah, that is when I really started to quit and like kind of take it seriously too. And then once I was going to 7th grade, it was like I had to turn that switch. Like 7th grade was a little bit more like, especially in middle school, um, the AAU style is just a little bit of a notch up than 6th grade, just a little bit. Just middle school in general is a notch up. So I started training with my older brother every day, and like at this point I realized like it feels good to actually be getting better, like, and this is something I never really wanted to do. So it felt really good, like getting better at the sport, seeing my improvement, and like I just wanted to succeed at this point within the sport. So in seventh grade, I really wanted to play for a good AU team. I had this AU team that was like, it was really good around the area, and I tried out for them and I made it. And we were really good. Like, I, we maybe lost like 3 games the whole season. It was a really good team. I loved playing on that AAU team. And obviously, I was starting to feel like my training was paying off because I made a really good AAU team. So it just felt good. It just felt like things were coming into play, and like I was now like kind of hungry for success in this point. Like it felt really good, especially during AAU season. Like it's a day and night difference from school ball. The competition is obviously a lot different, but people are noticing you a little bit more. Like if you play basketball, you know, like AAU's day and night from school ball. It could be different for other people, but that's how it was for me. And I know a lot of people like that's how it was for them too. And actually, it seems like all of my AAU coaches just trusted me. Like they trusted me a lot. I enjoyed basically all my AAU coaches. They saw something in me that like school coaches didn't really see too much in me. So I like my favorite part about basketball was AAU. I first of all love the traveling. I love making new friends like from other cities, just to say that like I have friends from Cincinnati or like whatever. But I loved like the coaching style. Like those coaches really did take the time to like trust me as a player, and it was just different from like school ball, middle school. I will say though, in middle school, my middle school coach, I had him 7th and 8th grade. He did have a lot of faith in me. Like he was really good to me. He saw something in me, and he just wanted me to succeed like on the school ball level. Like he was also a teacher, so like he didn't really care too much for the AAU, but as far as school ball, he wanted me to succeed, and I did in middle school. Like I was I was a pretty good asset to the team in middle school, but high school is when it really started to like kind of shift for me and like had me feeling very discouraged. So COVID hit towards the end of my 8th grade year, and obviously my 7th grade year I played for that really good AAU team, but the team like there was no team anymore after my 7th grade year. The team like there was no more of that team. So 8th grade year I was trying to find an AAU team, and I was going to play AAU, but then COVID hit and my mom just shut that down because I mean she didn't want me to get sick. She didn't want me getting sick. Like it was very fresh, and we were on lockdown anyway. Like some people were taking that risk to still play AAU, but not very many. Like if anybody remembers, like in that time, what is that, like 2021? In that time, like AAU was like kind of shut down. Like it was very, very limited to what you could do in AAU. AAU just really was not the same around that time. Like it was very strange. Like everyone was wearing masks, obviously while they were playing, and it was very limited. I know a lot of people didn't really play AAU, so my mom did not want me to like do that over the spring. And we're on lockdown anyway, so I spent that spring being on lockdown. I trained as much as I could during this time, like with my older brother, but it wasn't as loaded as it was when I was in 6th and 7th grade. But I did train as much as I could to still kind of stay in shape because I knew like high school was coming up, and I wanted to I knew it's like a step further, what a few steps further than middle school. I knew it got a lot more serious. So I wanted to be as good as I could. Freshman year eventually started, and um there were not a lot of freshmen playing. Like I think like from the people who played with me, obviously in middle school, I think it was 5 of us who ended up coming back to play. And that was it. One of the girls, she played JV and dress varsity. She didn't even play that many quarters of JV dress varsity, and she was a freshman. But I played JV. And I knew I was going to because I was a freshman. And the girl who did dress varsity, she was at the time better than the rest of us. I'm just saying like that. She was better than the rest of us, and that's why she was dressing varsity. They didn't really take the JV team as seriously as they took the varsity team. Obviously, a lot of schools are like that. They just don't really give a fuck about the JV team. And obviously, I was very serious about playing. So I wanted practice to be serious. Like, it just seemed very lackadaisical with the coach that we did have. It just seemed like he didn't really care about getting us better at all. He was just there because they asked him to be there, essentially, is how I felt. A lot of people ended up quitting at that time, and COVID had got around the team, and everyone was getting COVID, and they were just not really communicating with us very well, especially on the JV side. They weren't communicating with the JV side barely at all. So my mom pulled me from playing school ball, which was really kind of hurt because obviously I've been playing since sixth grade. I'm now a freshman. Like, this is crazy. Like, and I'm not finally getting to play my freshman year and getting that experience. So I trained every single day my freshman year where I would be playing basketball. I spent in the gym training, getting better, getting ready for AAU. Obviously, COVID was still going on, but it chilled out later this spring, my freshman year spring. So I was going to be able to finally play AAU again. I played AAU for a decent team. It was not the best team. I was one of the best players. I would say there was like three or two of us on that team, and the coaching style was like, this is the one AAU team where I'm like, the coaching style was like, like, he was just there to be there. But I was playing AAU obviously for the exposure. This was a pretty decent team around too in the Cincinnati area. I knew we were going to get a good amount of exposure, just as much as we could. So that was really all the experience that I wanted, was to get exposure. During that summer, obviously I was playing AAU, so we were traveling a lot, and I was getting a decent amount of looks for like going into my sophomore year. Not like offers or anything, but like, D3 coaches just reaching out, watching my games, some D2s, like just coming to watch. And I went to a lot of collegiate camps and exposure camps too, just to try and get my name out there, because I know I was walking to a different situation during school ball, and it's my sophomore year. I kind of want to get my name out there at least a little bit. So at this point, I had a lot of confidence going into my sophomore year because I knew I worked hard. I trained as much as I could, and I continued to train because I wanted to continue to get better. Um, and I just felt really confident because my AAU season went pretty good for me personally. So as you can see, like, I didn't really want to play at first, but my mind obviously kind of changed because of the so much work I was putting in. I felt like I know it had to pay off eventually, and someone had to see it. Like, my time was eventually going to come. Like, I'm going to start playing a lot. Like, my confidence was just like up here at this point going into my sophomore year. So I started my sophomore year, and we started like our summer league, and I was only playing varsity. I wasn't playing JV at all. They didn't want me to play JV. I would even ask to play JV sometimes. I think I played like one game of JV, but I asked to play JV once, and they were like, no. My head coach was like, no, I don't want you playing JV. So obviously, like, if someone's telling you that, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I should be getting decent minutes on varsity, because my freshman year was loaded with multiple D1 athletes, like D1 commit. About 8, I would say. 8 of them went to Division 1. Like, they all went D1. One of them's literally at South Carolina right now, a senior at South Carolina. So obviously I wasn't playing my freshman year, but the team had completely changed. It was all the sophomores who played JV last year. Well, I didn't play, but I came back, and then freshmen. Our team was very young. We had one senior. So we were a very young team. So I'm thinking I actually do have a chance to play on this team. This is actually funny because I wrote my I wrote my college essay on this, and it was actually really good. A lot of colleges liked it, but I just think that's funny because I'm telling the story now, because, like, I mean, a lot of people know all of it, but I just think, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. So when school season actually started and we had our first game, it was just varsity, and I didn't play at all. I played like a minute and 30 seconds, and I was just kind of in shock because like obviously I know the games tend to be serious. Um in different situations you need different type of people, so I was understanding of that, but I was kind of getting false hope in the summer because I was playing strictly varsity, and now it seems that I'm going to be playing JV, in which I did. So I played JV basically the whole season. I could probably count on one hand the amount of games that I played in varsity, which my coaches had said to me that the reason that I was playing um so much JV and not varsity at all is because I don't have any high school experience playing, because I didn't play my freshman year because of COVID, which I feel like is a crazy excuse because it wasn't just like I was just sitting around. I was training, I was constantly doing things to try and get better. So, um, this started to discourage me a lot actually, because they were also playing girls that didn't even want to play basketball on varsity, starting them, giving them a lot of minutes. And I put in a lot of work just to get a minute 30 up to 3 minutes to play. And if I make one mistake, I'm gone. Which I did learn to understand that some people have a longer leash than others, but like when it comes, I don't like to compare myself, but when it comes to the point to where I have to, like, comparing myself to those girls, they were multi athletes and this was not even their main sport, and they didn't even really care about playing. You choose to play them over someone who wants to be here, who's here, who puts the extra work in. It was just baffling to me, and at this point I just felt like I wasn't good enough. But this didn't keep me discouraged. I just learned to myself that, I mean, like, the situation's just different. My school team is very political, so I probably am not going to play a lot. But I knew I still had 2 more seasons of AAU, so I wasn't too upset about the situation at this point. I was still upset, but I knew I was going to play somewhere. Like, I had no option but to play somewhere, because I'm not going to just sit the bench and then sit the bench during AAU. So I mean, yes, the situation was like pretty up, but I knew AAU was coming up and I was gonna play in AAU, period, point blank. Because I mean, in my mind, I had no option but to play because of how much I didn't really play varsity my sophomore year. So I ended up playing for a team all the way in Indiana, and I live in Ohio, so it was like 2 to 3 hours away just for practices, just for games. But I knew I was going to get exposure on this team because this team was known for getting a lot of exposure. And I did get a lot of exposure. I got invited to a lot of camps personally from college coaches, and just a lot more exposure than I was getting the previous summer. Like, coaches were coming to watch me play, asking me what time I was playing, etc. So this made me excited all over again. Like, my confidence was just boosted all over again. So going into my junior year, I played great. Like, that was one of the best AAU seasons I had. The film I had was really good, and coaches did notice that. So we had summer league again, obviously for school ball, and I was playing great. Like, I was shooting lights out. Like, that was one of my best summer leagues. My confidence was obviously boosted from that. Like, I was playing varsity again, so it was just great. I had a great feeling, a way better feeling about going into this year. And my coach literally came up to me and told me, that's going to be your role this year on the team. You're going to shoot every time you get the ball. You're going to shoot because you're just shooting so well right now. So, like I said it before, like, your confidence is going to keep getting boosted if somebody keeps telling you some shit like this. Like, you're not going to be let down from this. You're going to be walking into a situation like, well, you told me this is what I expect when I get in the game, if I even get in the game. So my junior year, we actually had a very good player come and play for us. She was a freshman, and like, that kind of twisted rotations for us in a sense. She didn't play with us in the summer, so we didn't really get that time to play with her, but she came and played for us during school ball, so that just switched roles, essentially, is what they had told me. So Where did I go? Right back to JV. Um, they gave me choices like if you want to play JV, you can. Mind you, I'm a junior. If you want to play JV, you can. You don't have to, but you are going to be on varsity. It's not going to be like last year. I'm not just going to turn down the offer. If I have a chance to just play and play however I want, not play however the fuck I want, but if I there's no limits for me. Like, because I practice with varsity, these girls don't practice with varsity. There's no limits for me. If I can play with that, then I'm not even going to be mad. I took that offer because at this point, they were just playing in my face. But I played on JV and I played fine every single game. I had a good game basically almost all my games in JV. So at this point, I'm just confused and I'm just like, okay, I have one more year. It's whatever, because your confidence is just going to keep getting boosted down if you keep getting false hope, because situations keep changing. But coaches they'll figure out a way. Like, that's why I was saying before, my AU coaches, they really made sure that I was getting the exposure I wanted, they made sure I was getting looks. Period, point blank. It felt like my high school coaches they didn't really care about me getting any looks. And I started to peep that because of how political my school was. Like, I mean, if I got into college, I felt like they were going to be shocked. Like, and it's really fucked up, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's just how it was. And that was just a situation I was in. So at this point, I was just mentally detached from basketball. I didn't really want to play anymore because my confidence was just down. Why did I have to just wait till the summer AAU to feel like someone actually felt like I was a good player? Like, am I just this bad player? Am I like the make-a-wish kid of the team? What is it exactly? Like, what can I do better? And I'm constantly asking, what can I do better? I'm getting shots up after practice, before practice. I'm trying to do better. I'm going to training still. And there's just nothing, everything I do was not paying off. So I'm just thinking, like, I'm not ever going to get better. I'm not ever going to get my chance. And that's not a way to go into things. But if I kept being positive, I would just keep getting turned down. So at this point, I had to make a decision for myself and my mental being. So at the end of my junior year, like I said, my sophomore year going to my junior summer was great. My AAU coach trusted me. My AAU season was awesome. The film I had was great. So I played AAU my last year, because you can't play AAU after your senior year unless like you reach the age requirement. But I was 17, so it was my last AAU season, and I played with the team I played for in sixth grade. I played with them again, just out of Cincinnati. And I love my coach from that team. I literally love him. Like, he was a hard ass. Like, that is one of the best coaches I ever had, hands down. That he really cares about his players, and if you want to go to school, he's gonna make sure you get in school. He's sending your film out. He's contacting coaches because he knows coaches. He's gonna make sure that you're going to school for basketball if you want to go to school for basketball, and that's why I literally loved him. Like, I would not trade that AAU season for anything because I learned so much from him. And as hard as he was on me, I got so much better over that season. And you could literally tell. So going into my senior year, obviously my AAU season was great. Like, I made great connections and I got a lot better. I was shooting great percentages. It was just a really great season for me. And okay, I wouldn't say really great. I had my ups and downs some games, but it was a good season for me. I had film, so it was a good season. Coaches were asking me what time I was playing, and they were coming to watch me. So again, I'm feeling like going into my senior year, things are going to get better. And they did, actually. My summer league, I didn't play the best, I'll be honest. It was one of my worst summer leagues by far because I mean, I was nervous to make a mistake. I knew I was a senior, so like they had to play me, but not really. But I knew I wanted to play. I finally grasped that some people's leashes are longer than mine. So I knew my leash was very small. So I was very timid playing in the summer. I didn't want to make any mistakes because I wanted to play and I didn't want to get taken out. So my summer going into my senior year was not the best, but my AAU season was very good enough for me to get looks and good enough for me to finally start getting offers. So I started to get offers, and honestly, thank my AAU coach for all of this, because without him I wouldn't even have had as many opportunities as I did, because he really put the work in to make sure that I got in school. Like, I literally thank him for that. So I feel like it was kind of shocking to my high school coaches, like, oh my gosh, she's getting offers, because they just doubted me so much that it's like, I feel like they didn't ever believe that I could go to school for college. So at this point my goal was just to prove everyone wrong. But why did I need to do that? Why didn't I just do things that really made me feel happy, instead of keep feeling terrible every time I was playing basketball, because nobody believed in me the way my AAU coach believed in me. And I'm around my high school coaches more. They have a more impact on me. So the way they're thinking is really rubbing off on me. Like, why did I want to prove myself to them so bad? Why did I want that? I guess I just wanted the validation, but I didn't really need it, because they didn't even believe in me in the first place. I remember one time they were joking around, but I didn't think it was funny, saying that they were gonna play me on JV my senior year. Like, and I'm not a bad player. I'm not the best player, but I did not deserve to be thrown to play JV my senior year. So that was when I realized, like, they're not really with me for real. They don't think I can make it. So my goal now was just to make it, because they didn't believe in me, but I was going to prove someone wrong, and I did. So my senior year was obviously a lot better. Like, I think they started to realize, I could shoot. So they played me. This is the most I played. There were some games where like several people were hurt, and they didn't want to start me ever until they actually had to. And that's how much I feel like they really did not give about me playing because they would literally, oh, maybe she can start, maybe her, not TT though, she's not starting. So I mean, at this point I was discouraged, but it was my senior year. I was gonna have fun, like, and I loved my teammates. I loved all my teammates. I'm great friends with all my teammates. There were times where I felt like some of my teammates didn't believe in me either, because like they wouldn't even try and make me feel like, well, you're worthy of being here, some of them. So I'm just like, nope, am I really asked for something or what? Because, and if I'm asked, someone needs to tell me, why do I have offers on the table to play basketball? I don't understand. I think it was just the coaching staff. They really couldn't like grasp that. They didn't believe in me, simple, period, point blank. So at this point, I just took everything my coaches said with a grain of salt going into my senior year. Like, oh, you're going to play. Okay. And I felt myself getting really like depressed about this situation, because it's like, why do y'all just keep selling me false hope and playing in my face when you know you're not gonna play me? Like, just tell me to move on to better things. Like, I could have transferred for all that, but my mom really didn't want me to transfer, because it would just be too much in like eligibility to even play, to transfer, whatever. It was just not going to work. So my mom wouldn't let me transfer, and I just felt like they could have just kept it a being with me, instead of keep stringing me along, just have an extra body. Like, I'm a good person to have around, yes, but that's not all I want to be around for. Like, all I ever really wanted to do by the end of my senior year was to prove them wrong, that I could do it. And I didn't know why, because I could just be making myself happy. Like I said earlier, it didn't have to be any of that. I could have just been done with the situation and I'd feel fine about it. But because I was so close with my teammates, like some of my teammates are like my best friends, it was hard for me to let the situation go at that time. So I ended up going to college to play basketball at the Division 3 level, and let me just say, it's a day and night difference, y'all. I mean, collegiate level, yeah, I expected it to be hard, but the feeling of wanting to keep playing was just slowly going away from me. Like, I felt like a burden being around this team. It was like high school all over again, honestly. Like, it just wasn't for me. So I realized this very quickly. Like, why am I even doing this? I could be going to school, excuse me, I could be going to school for academics and just thriving at school, doing what I want to do, pursuing it what I want to pursue in, and not wasting any more time dragging it along. But instead, I'm playing basketball at Division 3 level, Division 3 level paying to play basketball just because I wanted to prove some high school coaches wrong. No. So in December, I decided I'm quitting basketball. I don't want this for myself. I am so much more than this, and I'm so much more than basketball. I can grow and thrive in so many more things than basketball. And it hurt because I spent so much time training. My mom made so many sacrifices for me just to go play in other states, just to get exposure, and for nothing, for me to have this feeling fade away. And I'm just like, I really want to do this. I really want to take this next step in my life. I don't want to keep feeling like I'm a burden somewhere where I shouldn't feel like I'm a burden. Obviously it did prove my high school coaches wrong that I couldn't make it, but I mean, it didn't even feel that good. Like, it didn't feel as good as it did when I quit. Like, that was like a weight off of my shoulders. Quitting basketball was like, I'm finally free. I finally have time to do what I want to do, like podcasting. I have time to plan. I have time to become a better person within myself. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I let that go. Sometimes you just have to let go in order to thrive more in yourself. If a situation is not for you and it keeps bringing you down, let it go. And it was constantly bringing me down. A lot of the times my depressing episodes were because of basketball. A lot of the times. And I don't want that for myself anymore. I don't want to keep crying because I'm not getting in the game, or crying because I don't feel welcome somewhere, or crying because no one believed in me. I don't want that, because at the end of the day, I just have to believe in myself. I'm tired of trying to prove myself to people who don't need it. Simple. And like, I thought, like, quitting basketball was going to make me really upset. Like, oh, I miss it. I just want to go back, but I don't. Like, this is the happiest I've ever been since I haven't played basketball. I love watching it and I love being around it, but I do not like playing it. And that is my story. I hope that like influenced some people to just let go of a unhealthy situation, or a situation that just brings you down a lot. It's more than just playing basketball. So yeah, that's the end of this session. It was a little bit more serious than the past few sessions I've been, but I hope that you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments, and keep being the great supporters that you guys are. Like, this is great. I love this, and I can't wait to grow more and more within my podcast. So that's the end of session 7, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.